guys, I am back with another video and I'm actually really excited. I say that every time, but I am actually really excited about this video because I'm going to be talking about the 26 books I want to read in the year 2026. It's crazy that it's already 2026, but I've never done this before, like set an overall yearly TBR, so I thought it would be really fun because there definitely are some books that I really want to get to this year. So they're all in piles, and I'm not going to go super in depth on like the synopsis or anything like that. I'm just going to give you a little background about why I'm really excited to read them, and that'll be it because I don't want to be sitting for like 30 minutes because that's how long this would be if I got to talking about each book because there are 26 of them. But let's just jump right into it. So in this first pile, the very first book we have is The Lamplighter, and this is not the order in which I want to read them. This is just a general list. The Lamplighter by Maria S. Cummings. This is a lamplighter novel. This is actually the story the company is named after because it affected the director so much. So obviously I was like, I want to read that if this is like the book that the whole company is founded on. This just follows a lamplighter and his influence on a sick young girl and how their relationship grows. But it is something that I'm really excited to get into. Then we have Bullfinch's The Age of Fable. This is a very beat up copy, but mythology is definitely a genre I discovered in 2025 and probably my fastest growing genre. And this one is like, I believe, a staple in the mythology world. And when I saw this, I was like, I'm gonna get it, even though it's kind of beat up, just to try. So I would love to get into this year. Then we have, hang on a sec, it's being finicky, The Last Unicorn by Peter S. Beagle. This is a darker fantasy with unicorns. And I was thinking to myself, besides Narnia, haven't read a single fantasy with unicorns. I need to change that. So that's why we're going to be reading The Last Unicorn in 2026. I love this cover, and it is a darker fantasy, I believe, but there's also a movie, so I can watch the movie after I'm finished with it. Then we have, not this whole thing. My last two Jane Austen novels are Mansfield Park and Persuasion, and I would love to read them in 2026. I am a little sad that I will have read all of her novels after that because then I have nothing new to read by her. I know she has some shorter stories, and I also do want to start rereading her work, but I would love to finish Jane Austen's novels. Then we have Shakespeare. I am trying to broaden my horizons as far as reading, and one of those genres that I don't get into a lot is plays. I've only read one playbook, and I did quite enjoy it. I think it was definitely an interesting experience consuming a story in that format. So I would love to get more into plays, and what better than Shakespeare himself. I have quite the collection of his right now, and I would love to start reading them. I did read Christopher Marlowe's play, but I didn't even finish it. I was in a weird mood. But I would love to get into my Shakespeare this year. Then we have one that I am slightly scared of, but I'm gonna do it, and that's Volume 1 in The History of the Decline and Fall of the Roman Empire by Edward Gibbon, and the first one is called The Turn of the Tide. The reason I haven't gotten into these yet is because I am going to be like taking notes on them. I have a journal right here that I'm going to be like page 59 and write down what I think is important because I'm not going to be writing in this book. But the Roman Empire is probably my favorite historical empire in history. I think it is quite an interesting time period, and I would love to read about it and get into these books. I also think that this, like the 4 volumes, is very digestible and not super overwhelming because I've seen the paperback and it's like that thick. It's a thick book. But these are the Folio Society books that I got brand new in the box, sealed, for $50. Am I not blessed? I'm just saying. Wait, I'm not putting that back yet. Okay, let me get the next stack. Then we have, this is technically 3 books, but I counted it as one, and that's The Cosmic Trilogy by C.S. Lewis. This is his sci-fi trilogy. I love the artwork on this cover, but we have Out of the Silent Planet, Paralandra, and That Hideous Strength. Not gonna lie, I don't know a lot about this, but I love C.S. Lewis as an author, so when I heard he had a sci-fi trilogy, I was like, I want to read that because sci-fi is a genre I'm also trying to get more into and probably my least read genre. So this is gonna be really fun. The cover, oh, it's just so fun, and I do quite love it. And yeah, I think anything C.S. Lewis writes, I will love. So it's perfect he wrote sci-fi when I'm trying to get into sci-fi. It's like he knew that I needed that. Okay, then we have two, and that's Homer's The Iliad and the Odyssey. I am gonna read this year. I'm gonna do it because the Ilium, which is okay, well, Epic the Musical is a musical inspired by the Odyssey, and the creator of that is coming out with Ilium, which is the Iliad, but a musical, and I would love to go into it knowing the source material. I didn't do that last time. I had the general idea of what the Odyssey was about, but I didn't really know anything other than it was like a journey of this guy trying to get home. So I would love to go into the Ilium knowing the source material. I think that would enhance the experience overall. So, as well as these are just they're myths or epics. I think they're both. Can they be both? I don't know. I would just love to read these in general, and also I want to start reading the different translations and figure out which one I prefer. Then we have Tanglewood Tales by Nathaniel Hawthorne. This is a bunch of retelling of myths by Nathaniel Hawthorne. I've never read anything by him, but he's an author I'm most interested in. So when I saw this, I was like, this is a good place to start. It's got really cool illustrations. Like, I like how the pages are staircasing almost around that illustration. But in this book, he retells the myths of the Minotaur, the Pygmies, the Dragon's Teeth, Circe's Palace, the Pomegranate Seeds, the Golden Fleece, and Roman and Greek gods. And like I said, mythology is my most growing interest as well as genre. A colored illustration. And I also really want to get into Nathaniel Hawthorne. He wrote The Scarlet Letter, right? That was him. I'm pretty sure that was him. I always get confused with The Scarlet Letter and The Turn of the Screw, but those are by two separate people, and I think he wrote The Scarlet Letter. I will fact check myself if I am wrong in the editing process of this video. Next we have The Mayor of Casterbridge by Thomas Hardy. This is a sort of psychological novel, I hear. Oh, there's a playing card in here. It's the Ace of Spades. That's gotta be lucky somehow. The design on it is actually quite cool. It's like a bunch of mermaids. It's kind of a cool card. I think I'll put that in my bookmark jar. But this, I've never read anything by Thomas Hardy, and I really do want to. And it follows this guy who he is a drunk. His name is Michael Henchard, and he sells his wife and daughter to a sailor. Okay. And they end up returning to Casterbridge 19 years later, and he has become the mayor. He has found success, and now he's consumed by guilt because his wife and daughter that he sold into slavery has returned. And it's a rich psychological novel about a man whose flaws combine with fate to cause his ruin. So I think this is a great place to start with Thomas Hardy. He also wrote Tess of the D'Urbervilles. That's him, as well as other works. That's just the other one that I know of. So I think this is a great place to start with him. And you will see some newer books on here that I haven't showed you guys before, and that's because I recently did a giant unhaul of books, which I have a video for, and it will be coming out soon. And I ended up taking these books to a bookstore where you can trade books for credit. So I got a ton of credit because I had a lot of books, and I got books for like $1 when they were originally $6, and that's where this is from, as well as some others in this pile. But yeah, that's The Mayor of Casterbridge. Then we have two mythology books. One of them is Mythology by Edith Hamilton. I got this at a library sale, and I think the only reason I haven't read it so far is because I was intimidated by mythology in general because I hadn't really dove into it when I got this. So I was kind of intimidated. I was worried I wasn't going to understand it, as well as something that worried me was all the different like versions of it, like the Roman version, the Greek version. I was super worried about that. But I think now that I've sort of dipped my toes more into mythology, this won't be as intimidating and it will be a lot more accessible for me, and I think this is going to be a great mythology read because it covers quite a vast majority of myths. It's got Greek, Roman, and Norse that are the keystones of Western culture. And so I think it's going to be really good, as well as I might find some references to other mythology works that I could read. And also is The Myths of the Norsemen by Roger Lancelyn Green. I read Irish folklore and myths, and it was super good. So I would love to get into Norse mythology. I think Norse mythology is one of my most like looked forward to parts of mythology. I don't know why I said that so weird. I got this at a garage sale, and it is like, I don't know what happened, if someone like tried to rip a sticker off and it ripped the page too. That's kind of what it looks like happened. But I am quite excited to get into Norse mythology. And then finally, on another new one you guys haven't seen before, but that's All the Lost Places by Amanda Dykes. This is a historical fiction, which I don't normally read a lot of that, but Amanda Dykes is an author I love. I read Set the Stars Alight by her, loved it so much. So when I saw this at the thrift store, I was like, I want to try this. And this has like a mistaken identity, 2 different timelines about 100 years apart, and it just sounds so deliciously good. And I love Amanda Dykes' writing. She's so poetical and flowery, and it's so good. We are on to the last stack of books that we have. So starting off, we have To Kill a Mockingbird by Harper Lee. I am halfway in between this. I would probably have to restart it because I don't remember a whole ton. I am halfway between. This is quite a famous modern classic, and I think is going to be a very eye-opening and necessary read. I feel like it's a book everyone should read once in their lifetime. That's kind of what it seems like. So I would love to read it. And then I also have Ghost at a Watchman by Harper Lee, but that's not on this list. This one is on this list though, because I've had this for long enough that I need to just read it and either like it or not. That's what I need to do with it. And that's what I'm going to do this year. The books are starting to fall over, but next we have The Making of a Hero by Elizabeth Prentiss. This is a lamplighter. Love Lamplighter. This one follows the struggle between what is pleasurable in the moment but will eventually lead to destruction, and what will not, which isn't as fun. And you know, it sort of follows the journey of this young man. Like I said, he's trying to pick between pleasurable things that will eventually lead to his downfall, or things that aren't pleasurable but will set him on the right path. And I just love all the Lamplighters I read, so I will most likely love that one. Then we have Dracula. I'm actually halfway through this. I just put it down because, I don't know, I don't know why. I just did. But I was quite into it. The first half was quite good and kind of scary. So I would love to finish this. And, you know, this is an iconic vampire story. I think the first one, this isn't the first vampire story, but it is like one of the most famous ones, and I would love to finish it because I don't read a lot of vampires stories. So this is my first little like dip into vampire fantasy, and I'm quite enjoying it so far. Then we have The Aeneid of Virgil. This is another mythology, and it follows Aeneid, and he's fleeing the ashes of Troy to Rome, and a sweeping epic of arms and heroism, the searching portrait of a man caught between love and duty, human feeling, and the force of fate that has influenced writers for more than 2,000 years. So, I think this is going to be a very good read. Like I said, I'm getting into mythology, and this also seems like a staple in mythology. It is also all in it's an epic. I don't know why I thought it would not be. But this is the translation by Alan Mandelbaum. Apparently he's won an award for his translation, so hopefully it's a really good one. Then we have a newer one, and that's Glimpses of the Moon by Edith Wharton. I literally was checking this book out at the bookstore, and the clerk goes, just to let you know, she writes heart-wrenching novels. I was like, thanks for the warning, I guess. But this is sort of like a marriage of convenience, and then it spirals into other things. I've never read anything but Edith Wharton. This cover though is so so pretty. And on the glimpse of the moon, the title drew me in, and then the back drew me even further. So I am kind of scared that this is gonna make me cry a lot, because we'll see. I've never really cried at a book before, but this could be the one to do it for me. So I also think Edith Wharton has been an author I've wanted to get into for a long time, so I think it's a good place to start. Then we have two Mark Twain books, The Adventures of Tom Sawyer and The Adventures of Huckleberry Finn. I tried reading The Adventures of Huckleberry Finn, but I think you have to read this one first, Tom Sawyer. Never read a full novel by Mark Twain. I've read his short stories, so I just need to get these read. I've had these for a while, and I kind of like that they're both vintage classics, and unfortunately the heights are different. That's unfortunate. Then we have Beowulf the Warrior. This is by Ian Serrelier. I also have, let me see if I can get it from here. I might have to get up. I'll be right back. But I also have Tolkien's translation and commentary on Beowulf. So I would like to read both of these. I counted these as one. But Beowulf is the oldest English epic. And I would love to read it. And I really like this one. I'm really excited to read his translation and commentary on it. Okay, next we have Brissinger by Christopher Paolini. This is the third book in the Inheritance cycle by him, and I am quite invested in this series at this point, so this is the natural course that's gonna happen. I have to read the third book, so that made it on here. The last two books that we have is 1984 by George Orwell. I read Animal Farm this year, and it was quite not as scary as I thought it would be. I thought I would not understand the themes in it, or the writing would be too hard for me. It wasn't, so that makes me all the more eager to dive into 1984 by him. And the last book we have is A Tangled Web by Ellen Montgomery. These are the Sourcefire editions of her books, and these are the ones that I want. And I saw this at the thrift store, and I was like, yes, you're coming home with me. Okay, so that is my 26 books to read in 2026. Definitely let me know if you guys have any priority books you want to read this year. And happy holidays and happy new year. And goodbye.